5:07.
Order regular board meeting, January 14th, 2026, West Valley School District. Call to order. Stephanie, would you please read the call to order?
Yes, citizens may comment on items appearing on the agenda when invited to participate during that agenda item by the board chair. Citizens may comment on items related to school district business not appearing on this agenda during the public comment portion of the meeting. Citizens, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make comments as briefly as the subject permits. Basic rules of decorum are in effect at all times. The chairperson may interrupt or terminate an individual statement when appropriate, including when statements are out of order, too lengthy, breach personal privacy rights, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise improper. The public should realize that this is a trustee business meeting conducted in a public forum.
You will stand and touch on each other.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And now we'll consider the consent agenda. We've made a change in the items on the consent agenda. The out of district approval list has been added to the consent agenda rather than have it later in the meeting, because this is I guess this is the way that it's traditionally done everywhere else. So we decided to put ours up there too. So then when we vote for the consent agenda, we'll have the list, the approval list will be taken care of.
And is there any changes?
The only changes this month is during a meeting, it came about that a student had moved out of the district. So very similar to Laurel, they have been our student and then they moved out of the district. And so technically now they're an out of district student.
Okay.
But they've been our student all along.
Hey, I got a question. This is pretty minor, but on the meeting minutes from last month.
Yeah.
Being that Stephanie read the call to order, does that mean she actually called the meeting to order, or is that still?
That's a good question. So I probably should change it to call to order by Marilyn, read by Stephanie. Yeah, I will do that. I'll change that. So we could probably approve the minutes as noted with the change then, like when you go to make the motion, make sure you do that. Thank you for catching that. I literally was talking to Shay at Masbo a little bit ago, and I just said, board meetings are still the thing that probably gives me the most anxiety, just always getting it right, you know, and because they're so particular and I'm just not 100% familiar. So thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the change to the meeting minutes as noted.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Correspondence, that was going to get the ship there.
There isn't any.
Nothing? No public participation? Welcome guests. Okay, informational recognitions and reports. Do we have anything from the West Valley PTO? How about the teachers organization? Okay, principals report.
We kind of talked today and things going on and started testing again for the winter benchmarking. We are getting rolling with Mass. And we've also instead because of the NAEP school again this year. And we've started planning for next year, which seems early. But both of us have given staff lists tasks to do each month so that we are on track for schedule reviews and grading. The middle school is going to review their new grading system just to make sure that there are changes we need to make, things we overlooked this year. Let's start back in January.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Richard.
Yeah, so we're up to about $50,000 in donations for the tax credit, which is really exciting to see. The cost to send the mailer out was about $2,400,
Mhm.
like that, so it's well worth the advertising cost to get that much in return, so. The deadline for that is January 20th, so we've got about a week to get more donations in, and it's exactly a week till we have to turn those in. And timer starts at 10 a.m. and then you have to input those as quickly as you can and try to make sure everything is accurate and printed out, because in the past, the donations have gone really, really quickly. But they upped it to $7 million for the state this year. Last year it was about 5 million. So hopefully that gives us a little bit of a breather, but now the word is getting out, I think it's gonna continue to increase, and if the state hits the mark, then they up it by 20% for the next year, so hopefully we'll be able to just keep going with that, and I remember the first year we did it, it was gone in just several minutes, because it was a max of.
Are you responsible for that or Megan?
I am,
You are.
yeah.
Is there a way, can you actually split the responsibility?
You can, it's very difficult to do
Oh.
that. So what we decided to do was just kind of have like all hands on deck, where like I put it in and then somebody grabs the print report and then somebody verifies. So it's not, all me, like, but it's a team of us where like I'm the motherboard kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
And so then obviously for, if you get the stomach flu, Megan.
Yeah.
Up to speed on.
yes. She'll have
Step
my
in,
login.
yeah.
Actually, I'll come in.
He'll still do it.
I'll still-
Just have Megan do it.
Yeah.
He'll still do
I
it.
will crawl in with.
We'll go to his house.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's pretty exciting. We really thank the community for stepping up and doing that for us. Because that's helping out a lot of kids and helping out a lot of staff. So pretty exciting. Again, I mentioned last time that we're still brainstorming on ways to utilize that Roundup for Safety grant. So Marcus and I have kind of taken that on as our project to look around the facilities and see, where we could take advantage of updating some of that stuff, like lighting in the parking lot, something we talked about, lighting in the field, rugs, simple things like that. But we can't go for another round until we close out our other one, and then you're limited to a couple times every calendar year. So I think that's something that now we know the system, we're gonna take advantage of that as much as we can. Much as
Richard,
possible.
how's our AED coverage in the building?
We have one that's near the office. So, and it's updated and it's good to go, and West Valley Fire Department knows where it is. So they're our closest response, so. But, yeah, we can also look at.
I asked that
doing
just in regard to Roundup for Safety.
Yeah, there's a grant that the state has where you can apply for
Yep.
some reimbursement for that too. So we, yeah. Great question. So Marcus is gonna put out for the next board meeting a list of more obsolete stuff that he's selling, so that we can have a little bit of a slush fund there to repair devices and take care of kids who might, need something for their house, things like that. We did apply for the completion of the cameras, but they have not been able to come out and look at it yet, so that's still ongoing, but we anticipate that it'll all clear. I sent pictures of everything, and so just wanted to let you know that that's not completely finalized yet, but we're still going through that process. Marcus has done an awesome job at increasing our Wi-Fi coverage in the building and the speed. Took advantage of some fiber optic cable connections on the northeast side of the building, where we can get up to like 2 gigs of internet. At any given second right now, we're at about 500 megabits per second, so it'll hopefully quadruple the speed we have, which you do notice in the day when teachers are streaming a lot, or there's something going on. You can kind of tell it gets a little sluggish, but that's something that we're excited about. We had 795 kids, so going into our February count, that's important because the first Monday in February we do our A and B for next year's budgeting. So we're looking at it. It hasn't changed much, but we typically fluctuate between that 795 and 805 number throughout the year. Kids come in and kids go out. So Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to highlight for this meeting, so.
Thank you.
On your list of projects, with Tony and Smith and Bill, that weren't like, you know, or, and I don't know, maybe it's the county. But
Oh,
like I
yeah.
watched cars go in that, you know, big hole
Mhm. Yeah.
and they like sink like the little cars. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any way we can
It
try to fix
technically can't because it is county and they will not come out, they won't maintain it. And they won't, it's old asphalt is what it is. It's not dirt, so there's, I mean, I park out there a lot, so I can just drive back to my house and there's even rebar, you know, it's sticking up by the fence. And I encourage people not to park there, even though I do, you know, but, it's, we can
Maybe
request it
even
again.
Just get like a load of gravel or something that could get put in that area,
Yeah, I
even
can-
if it's not like redone.
I can write that on our list for looking into, but, in the past, Phil has told me that in the past, they have been unwilling to
Okay.
do anything on that. But I have to write that down.
I'll go on to action items, the approval of the bills. Go
So,
ahead, thank you.
but can I speak to him? Because there's quite a bit on there this time. So if you notice, the bills were a lot higher than normal this month because are in December because we had a $100,000 check go out to Montana Heating and Cooling to secure the quote and to, so that he could order the heating or the units that we need. And so that went out. And then the other piece that added a lot was that the first half of the out of district tuition was due for the year. Our financial obligation for this year was $231,852. Now that, so $116, $116,215 and 83 cents went out. Now this represents 62 West Valley students who are attending schools outside of our district. Of these 62, 53 were in regular education classes in other schools around the valley. And that total financial liability for those 53 was $80,103.91 for the year. So $40,051.97 was paid in December. The remaining 9 students fall within the special education for services that we don't offer here at West Valley. 2 of those students are at Crossroads and Evergreen. 4 students in pre-K at Flathead Special Education Cooperative, 2 students in the STAR program at Flathead Special Education Cooperative. And then there was a small educational portion for 1 student during their stay at Shodair. Like we didn't pay for any of the psychiatric services or the other medical services, just their educational portion while they were there. That bill was $579.60. Those 9 students, the financial liability for the year is $151,748.12. And so in December, we paid $76,163.86. I paid the entire, most of every other bill was split in half except for the Shodair. I just wanted to take care of that $579. And so the May will be just slightly less than half. So currently this year, we have 103 out of district students attending West Valley. We currently have paperwork on 47 West Valley residents attending other schools. And so I say the piece about paperwork because last year when we received the bills in July, there were a couple from mainly one district that we hadn't gotten paperwork on. And from everything I've been told from OPI and at the Masville training meetings, it kind of doesn't matter. Like if they're attending your school or you have to pay for it, or if our kids are attending their school, we have to pay for it. But the paperwork is just kind of a formality. So there were a couple stragglers. So that number could change. And of course, we've seen just in the last couple of months, our number keeps kind of rising because all of a sudden somebody's moved out of the district. So all of a sudden, even though they've been here all year long, it doesn't do anything to our enrollment technically, but they no longer are our student. So with that being said, I just wanted to remind you that revenue coming in, so I will bill those other schools in July. They will pay next December and then the following May. That money coming in, we all pay our tuition out of our tuition levy, or I mean, our tuition fund, which is a permissive levy. So that's something that we approve in August. We go out and we ask the voters saying, this is what we need to cover our tuition costs. And that includes those special education students. And that includes, some teachers' salary for some of the teachers that work with some of our own special ed teachers can be taken out of there as well. But it also covers the out of district tuition. Now, when we receive that money, we receipt it into general fund revenue. And it's not like it's a bonus for us. What happens is the state reduces the portion they pay us by the amount of out of district tuition we receive. So we're collecting money from the taxpayers and then putting it back into the general fund, where then the state is reducing our payment by the amount we're getting only for the regular education portion of it, not the special education. Obviously, those people do not have to put it in their general fund because it covers the special education costs for them. So. Is that clear as mud? I just wanted to give you information like where this is all coming, because it was a lot of, if you looked at the total on the district side, it was a lot of money going out this month.
No, that's really helpful, especially just the kind of the net. Are we net
Right.
drawing or net negative on students?
It was a lot closer last year. Like, I think we had 68 students out of district last year, and we're up to right now 104.
Do we have any idea on the out of districts, the students in our district that are going somewhere else, like the mix between elementary versus middle school?
I could find that. Yeah, I do know what their grades are. I could find that out.
That might be something.
Yeah. And just so you know, I know it seems like a big jump from 68 to 104, but what happened is when we're finding that these people probably were already living out of the district and just hadn't reported it.
Most likely because we don't charge tuition.
Yes.
People are being more honest with it.
Yeah.
So that's why that. You
Yeah,
see
so
such
how's the
a.
tracking probably has gotten better, I would imagine.
Yeah, because people are now willing to be like, oh, it doesn't cost us any money, versus before it would cost, was it $1,500 a year
Roughly.
or something like that? Now they're like, oh, well, this is really my address. So,
But regardless, we used to get the A and B for those students
right.
directly. Now we just have to collect it from.
Well, we're still getting the A and B for the students
Yeah,
here.
Okay.
It's just that, and it's kind of it's just that the home districts have to pay because their taxpayers we're collecting their taxpayer portion that is being put into their kitty. So we're collecting that portion, but we still get the A and B on them.
But the state, you said, for the kids that are out of district decreases that amount that they pay us. Correct?
Not necessarily for those kids in particular. It's just
Okay.
the sum that they send us, the state aid goes down by that number. So, I mean, it's a wash basically, kind of.
So there's not much benefit anymore of having out of district students where it was maybe more of a financial benefit.
Yeah, I'd still say.
We
it's
still get their A and
slightly-
B.
Still get the A and B, so the
Yeah.
count is still important.
Yeah.
We don't get, well, not get.
You don't
to,
get
but
the
we don't.
additional tuition.
Exactly. We don't.
Yes.
So.
So, and are these numbers from the 24-25 school year that we're paying for right now?
Yes,
Mhm.
we're paying in arrears. So we all had to put all of our students into Mayfair's by, I want to say like June 15th. And then we could produce bills, and we had to get those bills out to the other schools by July 1 And then, but they're not due till the December and May, the following year.
Hmm.
So we pay in arrears.
So Maggie, could you summarize in terms of how many students that should be in West Valley are going out? How many do we have there?
This year we have, I think I said it, currently we have 47 students who West Valley is their district of residence. And they're going to other
On the other
schools
side, we have 103
that,
that are outside that do come here.
yep.
And then that tracking is just solely based on the parent putting in the info into Infinite Campus. Is that where where it's all? tracked?
There's a form they have to fill out. It's called an FP 14, and they have to fill it out. Brooke starts opening it up in, I think, May, doesn't she? May or
May
May.
31st.
And she starts opening up, and every year they have to fill it out for each one of their kids. So like if you had 5 kids, you'd have to fill out 5 forms. And then we get
That's
the
how every school district does it?
yes,
So-
it's an
Every
OPI thing. Yep. And then we if the students are here, the parents fill out the form here. We send it off once our board approves, that they can come here. We send it off to the district of residence, and then they get to sign off on it. And then we have ones where we sign off on sending our kids there. The only thing that needs board approval is accepting kids. Like, we don't have to have board approval to have one of our students go somewhere else. We don't have any say in
We
it.
ever denied students
We have.
We have, yeah, simply due to enrollment by grade
enrollment
level.
and numbers
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
classroom counts are.
Right,
Anything that makes us be
Yeah.
out of compliance
right,
with
with accreditation,
accreditation.
leaving room for students who are in a district to move in out also. We capped it at 85% in the elementary and then 90% in the middle school of the accreditation.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to know elementary versus middle school too, just on those
Okay.
numbers of those kids leaving, like where those numbers
Yeah.
are.
I don't actually see a whole bunch of 7th and 8th graders, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, but I can let you know.
Cause if they went to KMS, that would be.
Out of district.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
On the same token, it'd be interesting to know what kids are coming here.
The grade split. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I can email that out for sure, because I do have it. I have it all on a spreadsheet that, shows who's coming, who's going. And that's something that Brooke and I work on very closely, because it's amazing to me how many people change schools in the middle of the year and all the things, so.
I know you already said this, but where do we get the money from that we have to pay out?
So, in March of each year, we do set our permissive levy, like we put it out in the paper that we are going to permissively levy for certain funds. And the tuition fund is one of those funds. We don't have to decide in March what that number is yet, because we won't have all of our data. But we have to let the public know that we're going to permissively levy. We can take a guess at what we think it's going to be, but we do have the right, when it comes actually time for us to set the budget in August, we do have the right to change that number if something comes in between now and then. So knowing that we have 47 students, I can guess how much we might need to pay for those. But again, we're not going to want to finalize that until after July, till I receive all the invoices. So,
What are we paying approximately per student then out?
it about anywhere between $1,400 and $1,800 a student for regular education. It depends on, I believe, what their tax base is in their homes.
And whichever's lower.
And whichever one is lower.
Yeah, that's interesting, cause I thought we had to exchange the A and B.
No,
Yeah.
it does
Yeah,
seem
it's
like
right.
it should be that, but
Yeah.
it's not. It is a headache. Like it is,
That's new, what? Couple years ago?
Yeah,
this is the second year.
from the 2023.
Yeah,
budget.
this is the first year we're paying each other. Last year was the first year we had to fill out the forms and record and bill. This is the first year we're all paying each other.
Yeah.
So,
I think overall with the out of district students, I think obviously it's I think we should see that we have a net positive inflow as a positive reflection on the school.
Mhm.
It's also, really helpful just with school funding because you're able to accept or maybe deny for certain class sizes because you have to add a class. Maybe there's only an overflow of 10 students to keep accreditation, but you can have 25. So there's kind of a financial balancing there that works really well. But I think longer term, it's not a huge number, but it is kind of something I think obviously important to note when or if we get to the point where we have to build a new building, potentially consider that just to really put a lot of focus on that.
Two things is we are on the positive side of this. Schools like Smith Valley are devastated by this.
Correct, yeah.
They are not having, I know that we have I think 8 Smith Valley kids. But yet we only have, and we also have 8, maybe Whitefish, a much larger district. So their little school is devastated by this, the ability for people to come and go. The other thing we see is that it allows people to kind of, shop schools.
Mhm.
And that can create its own headache and heartache a little bit too.
Sure.
Was that one of the reasons the legislature proposed this, so that people could choose schools? Was that
I
part of
don't
the
know.
philosophy?
Conjecture, yeah.
Mhm.
This is House Bill 203. Yeah, from the 2023.
Are they gonna go back and analyze what they've actually done here?
No, they won't.
It should help though, like Jeff, you said, if you did have to add another seed, where you have maybe some more of those funds to pay that teacher salary, where before you never really had that.
Yeah, it was more difficult maybe
Yeah,
to
yeah.
coordinate the addition. I mean, the school funding formula just doesn't make any sense
No.
that
It's very complicated.
you're capped on the number of students to get accreditation. And it's like, well, then I have 1 teacher, 2 teachers, 3 teachers, and I only need a quarter teacher.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly.
and so that quarter extra teacher, then you start to look at, this out of district student
Mhm.
flow as an opportunity to say, let's fill that classroom a little bit
Yeah.
higher.
Principals can tell you that's a headache for us every
Yeah, I mean,
every
it-
season
yeah,
because
it does.
it's impossible. And then luckily we are in a position where we can keep our class sizes low,
yeah,
but that forces other districts to make those decisions on keeping the class sizes high.
yeah. But that was the formula was kind of on the docket to maybe change
It
at
is,
this
there's a
last.
decennial study right now.
Yeah, which I think,
Oh,
long term could
yeah.
be really important to schools.
Yeah, we were just talking about that at my Northwest Mass meeting today, how complicated. The deputy superintendent was there at our meeting and he was talking about how complicated our formula is versus other states, and like Wyoming is so much simpler, and
Yeah,
so there's some movement in that, but I think it'll still remain fairly complicated, would be my guess, but yeah. They're talking about it as we speak, I think, really, so. Oh, and I wanted to mention too, that we have started the calendar building process for next school year, and Mark Waddy is gonna be the board rep that's on that, so thanks.
I think the general consensus is the calendar for this year was great.
I like the calendar this year, so everybody
I
likes it.
think this year.
I see some head nods.
I've heard positive feedback.
And you think about the calendar.
Similar drafts from last year.
Really should say now's the time to change it, right? You gotta go in and blow it up.
So I guess we're at the point, if there isn't anything else, we just need to move to approve the bills. That was a kind of a long discussion on the bills, but I knew that there would be a lot of questions, so I actually wrote it out.
I just have a question on Montana Shakespeare in the Parks here for $850.
We're paying for that out of the innovative tax dollars. Those are one of those items that it's not something is normally in our budget, but it's directly enriching the students. And so that's one of those things like the math counts and other things that the math contest that Richard, we talked about that to be paid out of the innovative tax dollars that people are donating.
Yeah. It's definitely.
So that's where that money's coming from.
That's good. And will that be this summer, or will that be incorporated in the spring?
January 27th.
January 27th.
Oh, so they come
do it.
around,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, during the school year.
during the school day.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second, is there any discussion on that, further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we're gonna, go on to B, that, we're gonna move that board meeting to February 18th, so that would be week after.
Yep.
Yep, so instead of being the 11th, it'll be the 18th, so it'll be Tuesday, the 18th.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the 18th.
I'm 26. I thought I had. See now, and I thought I was so bad, I thought I knew enough, but I didn't. Okay, here we go. So it will be a Wednesday, the 18th.
I make the motion to go to the 18th.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, and then, another action item we usually have is the human resources personnel report. We usually okay that, and there are no changes. So I just wanted to make mention that, it's not that we didn't neglect to put it in here, it's just that there aren't any, so.
Thank you.
So, you know. Okay, and now. The next action item. Is superintendent job performance evaluation, which, now I will read the official, yeah, information on this. So this is, as board chairman, I've determined that the demands of individual privacy, Richard's individual privacy as superintendent, clearly exceed the merits of public disclosure in relation to the following action item of the superintendent evaluation. At this time, we will move into closed session. We ask all individuals not related to this action item, please leave the room, except that we are gonna leave the room. We're gonna go into the little meeting place next to Richard's office, rather than have the evaluation in the library. So we're gonna leave the room. But we will return to the open meeting to close the agenda after this item is finished. And we don't, yes, so we can just go into that room. Superintendent's evaluation. So now we can entertain some motions and action items to we're reconvening into open session, and we started recording again. So now we will have action items to approve. So the first one is concerning the superintendent evaluation. So, and the second is the executive session minutes, which are here, which were fine. And the third is to approve the superintendent contract extension. So can we do that all in one motion?
I think the first two you can, because there's no discussion by the board on the first two.
The last one.
And the last one, you have to not do it because there is the potential for discussion for about, like either not about what was said in the evaluation, but there's the potential for a discussion, but the other two, there's not.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent evaluation and the executive session minutes.
I'll second.
it'll be no more discussion. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. We'll go on to the third issue, approve the superintendent contract extension. It said the board can discuss this if they want. Okay. So we can do this simply too.
I think you just need to ask like a regular action. Is there any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent contract extension.
Oh, second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? Knowing that the contract then will actually be considered at a later date. This is just an extension. Voting to extend it, okay? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.